Man, oh man, do I have some books to show you. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and what are we calling this? Let's call this the Christmas Catch-Up Comic Haul. Not ketchup like mustard, but catch up like I'm behind, and so let's catch up. So if you guys don't know, the reason my shelves behind me are empty is because I am in a new space. We just bought a house, and in the process of buying a house, we did a lot of scrimping and saving. Is scrimping a word? I feel like I've heard scrimping before. The point is skimping and saving. The point is, there was a lot of times where it was like, I could buy a comic book or I could buy a house. And as you can see, I chose the house, but to finally be able to, let loose a little bit, spend some Christmas money, get some books in that I needed to get in, feels really good. So I got quite a few books in front of me. I guess I could have chosen a wider angle shot so that you could see everything in front of me, but whatever. It is what it is. I got books from a few different sources. I'll shout them out as we go. But let's get started with a package that I grabbed on eBay last month. This is very special. You guys know I'm a big fan of special things. Guess I should tell you that or I shouldn't spoil it before I get the book out, right? So this is one of those things where it's like, you see a great deal and you're like, hey, I can't pass this up. I don't care what's going on. I cannot pass this up. And when I saw this on eBay, I was like, yes, sir, that one is coming home with me. And it is Previews magazine from December of 1992. This is highlighting or showcasing issues going on sale in February of 1993. And some of you might know that February of 1993 is the year that Milestone Comics debuted. And here we go. The first, or for a lot of people, the first big preview image of the Milestone characters. So on this cover, we've got Hardware front and center pointing at you. We got Rocket icons here. Got some members of the Blood Syndicate. And of course, we got Static over here in the corner. Brick House is always my favorite, just kind of looking imposing in the shadows. This image, of course, is by Dennis Cowan, and that's really cool. It's, again, the first look that we're getting at many of these characters. And of course, like, Dennis didn't really draw most of these characters outside of their debut covers, except Hardware. So it's really cool to see them as depicted by him. But for a long time, this book was going for like insane amounts of money, but we're in a recession, so comic prices are down, and I am happy to say that I got this for, I want to say $50 shipped. Might have been like $47 or something like that. Now, mine does have like a little bit of a blemish here in the corner, but who cares about that? I don't care about that. What's really cool is not only does it have the preview and a really cool interview featuring Dwayne McDuffie and Dennis Cowan. And if I'm not mistaken, Derek Dingle might have been, no, it was just Dennis and Dwayne that got interviewed for this previews feature. The line of questioning in this interview is kind of funny too. Maybe I'll talk about it in a different video. But we also get a fold out poster, little Blood Syndicate preview here. So really cool stuff. But let me put that in correctly. And let's get on with the haul because we got a lot of books. Now, I got another stack here. This stack of comics comes courtesy of my LCS, Fighter Flight Comics in Raleigh, North Carolina. Perfect time for a promo spot, right? You go visit them in Triangle Town Center Mall. Tell them I sent you, and they'll treat you super special. So do it. Just do it. Insert Shia LaBeouf meme here. Will that fit right there? I'm going to drop something. So anyway, so let's go ahead with the books I grabbed from the LCS, starting with, because I like to grab these smaller hardcovers and stuff and trade paperbacks at the local comic shop, support them, get my 10% subscriber discount. And then for like bigger books, I'll go to like, my favorite online retailer. We'll talk about them a little bit later. But first up, Space Ghost by David Pepose and Jonathan Lau. This is the hardcover collecting the first 6 issues of this ongoing series from Dynamite Entertainment. Dynamite's been doing really good about collecting their licensed stuff here lately. You'll get the trade paperback and the hardcover, usually solicited for release like the same week. So I went to the shop and picked up a bunch of stuff that I had pre-ordered. And, Fight or Flight Comics has a deal where if you buy 3 collected editions, then you'll get the 4th one for free. And so they were like, hey, you qualify for another free book. And I was like, oh, bet. And so I ran back to the table and grabbed Space Ghost by David Pepose, even though I own all the single issues. Now, here's a book that I was excited to get into, but have not read yet at all. This is Blood Squad 7, the trade paperback, Volume 1, written by Joe Casey with art by my man Paul Fry, and some other people on the art as well from Image Comics. This is a book that, like I said, I had really had no knowledge of until I interviewed Joe Casey, and I was like, hey, for $12.99 for this trade paperback, I'll try it out. But basically, this is like if Youngbloods never left Image. That's basically the way this has been described. I never read Youngbloods, so hey, it is what it is. But excited to have this. Blood Squad 7, Volume 1, trade paperback. Shout out to Paul Fry, by the way. We met at New York Comic Con. And we ended up on an adventure trying to find like an after party in an unmarked building. That was crazy. But anyway, cool stuff. Next up, rounding out the Energon Universe trade paperbacks, this is Destro, Volume 1. Destro, written by Dan Waters, art by Andre Bresson and Adriana Lucas. Yeah, Adriana Lucas does colors. Andre Bresson and Andrea Milana are the artists on this. Russ Wooten on letters. So you guys know I'm not a huge G.I. Joe fan, but I decided I wanted to get into the Energon universe because I was reading Transformers and it started crossing over. And I was like, I need to know about this stuff. I need to know what the deal is before G.I. Joe launches. As you can see, I'm behind. G.I. Joe's been out for 2 months, but at least I got all these 4-issue miniseries to start me off. And I will be waiting for the deluxe editions to collect the rest of the Energon stuff. Those are coming beginning of this year. I almost said beginning of next year. It's 2025. Happy New Year. Next up, this was something I saw just going through the solicits in Comic Hub, and I was like, hey, why not? Let's do it. That's really interesting. So this is the Superman 100 project. This is a book benefiting the Hero, or published by the Hero Initiative, which basically is a charity that exists to help comic book creators who have fallen on hard times. A lot of times you'll see GoFundMes for medical expenses or, finding like housing security and stuff like that. The Hero Initiative does step in to help comic creators who are in that type of need. So this is one of the things that they are selling in order to do that. So DC agreed to print a few blank covers on Superman issue number 6. And the Hero Initiative commissioned 100 top artists to do an original piece featuring Superman. Each of those originals were auctioned off with the proceeds benefiting the Hero Initiative. But now you get to see each of the commissioned images. So that's really cool. Really, really cool stuff. Got a Jerry Ordway piece in here. Patterson Oliveira. There's a who's who of famous comic artists. Darryl Banks. Shout out to Kyle Rayner. Sweeney Boo, podcast alumni. So cool stuff here. I'm not sure what I expected when I ordered this. It just sounded like a cool thing. And so I ordered it. Anyway, let's keep it going. More trade paperbacks. This one from Image Comics is Moon Man. Moon Man, written by Kyle Higgins and a certain rapper named Kid Cudi. It was right there. I could have just been like a kid named Cudi, like that mixtape. But anyway, Moon Man. This is about, basically it's about Kid Cudi. Like Kid Cudi's character very much is, looks like him. His name is Ramon. He goes off on like a space odyssey, or he kind of works for a company that's kind of like SpaceX. It's like SpaceX and Amazon all mixed together. But he's working for this like billionaire corporation, and he goes on a space mission. The mission fails. They get lost for a little bit. And when they come back, it's the subject of all kinds of speculation. He's kind of a little bit of a celebrity because of the whole experience. Turns out he's got superpowers that are coming from this cosmic accident. And he goes back to his native, which I believe is Cleveland, but I don't remember. And as he finds out he has these powers, his little brother and other people from the neighborhood he's from back home are basically trying to get him to fight against the evil corporation because, the SpaceX parody here is not really for the people. And even though he's a company man, maybe it's time for him to be a moon man. Cool stuff. I ended up like dropping this in singles, so this collects the first 5 issues, but the series is still ongoing. And another trade paperback from Image Comics. This is Ain't No Grave. Ain't No Grave, written by Scotty Young, art by Jorge Corona, who is right now the artist on Transformers. This is the same team that brought you Middle West, by the way. But Ain't No Grave, about this woman, I forgot her name. Basically, it's a Western, a fantasy Western. And this lady is trying to outrun death because she's got some kind of terminal illness. And, as her former life catches up with her, she's like, I got stuff to live for now. I got a kid, I got a family. Death ain't gonna take me out so easily. So she goes to confront death. I read the first 2 or 3 issues of this, and then issue 4 I forgot to pre-order at my comic shop and it got sold out. So I had to just order the trade paperback and wait to finish the story. So now it's here. Glad I got it. Now this next book is one I actually pre-ordered a long time ago and it just came in somehow. But from Fair Square Comics, this is Noir is the New Black. This is the expanded edition. It's a new printing of an anthology that they did a little while back. Basically, these are all noir stories. So like detective, like kind of gritty, heavy black inks and stuff, all from creators of color. So, there's a story here written by David Walker with art by Mark Bright, the late Mark Bright. There is a story here by Roxy Hayes with art by Pat Massioni, Mikhail Hardy, some of the other creators featured in this. I already shouted out David Walker, Brandon Thomas, Greg Burnham, and Stephen Harris, Joe Illidge, Chris Cross, shout out to Milestone, Brandon Easton, Tyrone Finch, Greg Elise, what's up to you, dude? Marcus Williams, Quinn McGowan, David Brame, Karen Darboe. She did a lot of covers for Dynamite as of late. Paris Elaine, who did that static graphic novel recently. Victor Dandridge. The list goes on and on. If you're into black comic creators, this is an anthology you need to grab. So shout out to Fair Square for that. 18 stories, 47 creators with a foreword by Sean Martinbrough, who actually wrote the book, literally wrote the book on how to draw noir comics. So that's really cool. And the last book I grabbed from Fight or Flight Comics, this is Superman Kryptonite, the deluxe edition. This is a story written by Darwin Cook with art by Tim Sale. Now this entire creative team is, no longer with us. The late Darwin Cook and Tim Sale, I've never read this, but with a cover price of only $29.99, I was like, sure, I'll check out a story drawn by Tim Sale. Tim Sale did Superman for All Seasons. Darwin Cook, perhaps most famous for the Justice League. God, what is that story called? I am blanking. Justice League. The New Frontier. DC The New Frontier. It was written right here on the back of the book. I cheated. But anyway, this collects Superman Confidential issues 1 through 5 and number 11 with a sketchbook by Tim Sale and an intro by Darwin Cook. So shout out to DC Comics for that. Now, those are all the books I grabbed from my LCS. I am going to just set them aside real quick. I got to fill up these shelves somehow, right? Love it when a plan comes together. Now, let's show off a couple of books brought to us by channel sponsor Organic Price Books. I did pre-order the... Oh, wait. This book didn't come from Organic Price Books. This also came from my LCS, Fighter Flight Comics. This is DC versus Marvel, the Amalgam Age Omnibus. This just came out, 2 days ago as I'm filming this, and I'm very excited to own this. This is the direct market variant by Jim Lee. What's funny is I went with the standard cover for the original DC versus Marvel Omnibus, but something about Jim Lee drawing these characters just was really cool to me. Now, if this is anything like the other one, then you can get that full Jim Lee art piece on the in a fold-out, a gatefold page. So maybe I will go back and swap this for the original cover by Dave Gibbons. But for now, whatever. This is cool. This book is sold out pretty much everywhere, so I think it's still on sale at In-Stock Trades if you're looking for this cover specifically. Other than that, you got to go to your local comic shop. I know Fighter Flight ordered a bunch of copies, which is why I got mine here. Organic Price Books got shorted, or I would have ordered it with a massive discount. But oh well, you win some, you lose some. You live to support your LCS. So DC versus Marvel, the Amalgam Age. That might be a bad idea. We'll find out later. Now, let's get to a book that I grabbed from Organic Price Books. This is why I call this a catch-up haul, because this is a book that should have been in my collection a long time ago. It went out of print briefly. The prices went up higher than I wanted to pay for them. But this is Green Lantern by Jeff Johns, the Omnibus, Volume 3. Now, funny enough, I got my Volume 1 of Jeff Johns' Green Lantern for free because of a Facebook deal gone wrong. And, the seller sent that to me to make up for, the issue. And then Volume 2 I got because of an Amazon price glitch. So they sent me that one for free. That whole story is documented here. And so every price that I ever saw on Volume 3 just felt like a little bit too much, considering I didn't pay for the first 2 volumes. But after interviewing Jeff Johns, I remembered, oh snap, I don't have Volume 3 of his Green Lantern run. So I had to fix that. It's back in print, by the way. Shout out to OPB. I think it was like $62. So glad to have that. And now, this next book, I saved it for last for a reason. This book has eluded me for literal years. And that's a shame because I think this might be the best comic I have ever read. And I'm talking about The Immortal Hulk. Immortal Hulk, written by Al Ewing with art by Joe Bennett. I think Joe Bennett does almost every issue, except the Gamma Flight miniseries, if I'm not mistaken. But Immortal Hulk is a 50-issue run. This also collects the 0-issue Immortal Hulk, The Best Defense, Defenders, The Best Defense, a couple of Absolute Carnage tie-ins, a King in Black tie-in, the Gamma Flight miniseries, Avengers 684, and Immortal Hulk, The Time of Monsters. Avengers 684, where the idea of the Immortal Hulk kind of springs from, if I remember correctly. But this book is so good. I don't do horror books, and this book has and I'm honestly not even a big fan of the Hulk. So for a long time, this book wasn't really on my radar. But I got invited to a podcast. I'll put the podcast information in the show notes because I can't remember who. I know whose show it was, but I can't remember the name of their show. But anyway, I'll shout it all out below. But the Immortal Hulk, I read the first 10 issues for my appearance on that podcast and got hooked. And so I quickly finished the rest of it on Marvel Unlimited. And I was like, I really need to own this book. But it had gone out of print. And then it came back in print, but I just didn't have the money because, again, saving for a house. And then, we got the house. And this book I actually got in a Facebook sale just last week. Shout out to my man Durley in the Omnibus Cafe. He sold me this for $100, which is it's undercover price. I didn't even realize at the time that this was a sealed copy. I thought I was buying a used copy. This thing's still in the shrink wrap. And because I've read the entire book, it might stay in the shrink wrap for a little while, but very excited to have that. Now, I guess all that's left to do is to take one of those ridiculous thumbnail selfies. So let's stack up the books. All right. I guess I should flip these around. so you can't see what everything is. And, oh gosh, I'm getting too old for these thumbnail shots. Shout out to Planet Fitness. But anyway, that was my Christmas catch-up haul. Hopefully you saw something you liked and I inspired you to grab something that you weren't going to pick up otherwise. By the way, if you're looking to grab any of these collected editions, you can grab them at organicpricebooks.com. They are the best place to go for collected editions. They got great discounts, great shipping, and best of all, tremendously great customer service. So let them know I sent you. You can use my discount code at checkout. It's my name, BJ Kicks. Or if you're buying 4 books or more, you can use the code BJ Kicks. Ship it together. And like the code implies, they will ship all your books together and you'll get a 5% discount. 5% doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up pretty quickly, especially when you're buying these ridiculous omnis with $150 cover prices. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. I'll see you guys in another video soon. Till then, stay safe, stay awesome, and read something dope today. Peace.